Hey, what's going on, guys? So, like I promised, this video is going to be on dividing radicals. So, let's just get right into it. Okay. So we have the square root of 36 over 25. The way that you take the square root of a fraction, or a rational expression, fancy name, is you take the square root of the numerator, take the square root of the denominator separately. So the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 25 is 5. And that's it. That one's really easy. And I'm laughing because you guys, I say everything's easy, and you guys always make fun of me because you say it's not, but it is if you get good at it. So, square root of 36 over square root of 25 is equal to radical 36 over radical 35, or 25. Radical 36 is 6. Radical 25 is 5. And that's your final answer. Okay. It does get more complicated and tricky, so I'll throw one of those at you. So the square root of 7 over 16, which, like we said, becomes square root of 7 over 4, because square root of, or, sorry, S kids, that, my apologies, don't yell, becomes the square root of 16. So, square root of 7 doesn't simplify, stays the square root of 7. Square root of 16 simplifies to 4. Now, the difference between this answer and this last answer, no radicals. This one has a radical in the numerator, okay? Don't panic, because that's perfectly fine. We are allowed to have radicals in the numerator, okay? But just from my tone of voice, you should notice that if we took the reciprocal of that, or we had the reciprocal of 16 over 7, becomes the square root of 16 over the square root of 7, which turns into 4 over square root of 7. A lot of you guys are going to say this answer is cool, it's good, but sorry to burst your bubble, it's not. You're allowed to have a radical in the numerator, not allowed to have a radical in the denominator, okay? But don't fear, it's actually really easy to get rid of the square root of 7, okay? We need to multiply radical 7 by something that is going to cancel out this radical, okay? While you ponder life and ponder that question, I'll just tell you, we have to multiply top and bottom by radical 7. Make sure you multiply your numerator and denominator by whatever radical is on the denominator that's messing you up, okay? So radical 7 on the denominator is messing us up, so we multiply numerator and denominator by radical 7, okay? So the numerator now becomes 4 square root of 7 over square root of 7 times square root of 7 becomes square root of 49. Now to simplify, the numerator doesn't get simplified over 4 square root of 7. Denominator, square root of 47 is 7. Okay. Now there's a little trick that you can skip a step. And some of you guys might have remembered it from class when we went over it. Some of you guys might see it right now. But I'm not going to tell you just yet because, well, that'd be too nice. Sorry. Our final answer would be 4 square root of 7 over 7. A lot of kids tell me 7 divided by 7 is 1, which you're totally right. But this isn't 7. This is the square root of 7. So we can't cancel anything. And that's your final answer. Okay? So on to the next one. Let's do square root of 12 over 5. So we simplify, we get square root of 12 over square root of 5, which then simplifies to square root of 4 times 3 over square root of 5. I'm kind of blowing through this one because at this point I hope you guys know how to simplify a radical. So we can pull the 4 out and it becomes 2 radical 3 over square root of 5. Now, we're not done because we have a radical in the denominator, which is not allowed. I blame the Greeks for that because it was probably their idea. But anyways, we got to listen to the rules since they were geniuses. So, in order to get rid of this radical 5, multiply the numerator and denominator, denominator, by the square root of 5. Okay? And all your dreams will come back to life. So, 2 radical 3 times radical 5 is 2 radical 15, because 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 5 is 15. Over square root of 5 times square root of 5 is square root of 25, which then simplifies to 2 radical 15 over square root of 25 is 5. Alright, we can't simplify anymore because, again, this is square root of 15 over, or 2 square root of 15 over 5, so we can't do 15 divided by 5 is 3 because that's not allowed. So leave it like that, and that is your final answer. Okay. If you guys didn't notice by now, we multiply square root of 5 times square root of 5. We get square root of 25, and our answer simplifies to just 5. We have square root of 7 times square root of 7 goes to square root of 49, simplifies to 7. Square root of a number, so square root of, I'll make it tricky, square root of x times square root of x is square root of x squared, which is just x. If you ever multiply a square root of something times the square root of that exact same something, your simplified answer is just that something. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is just 5. Square root of x times square root of x is just x. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is just 7. And it's cool how that works. I mean, I think it's cool, but then again, I'm also kind of lame. So, last one, I'm going to get tricky with it. And let's do some variables. So you have 16x to the third over 5y to the first. Okay? So we take the square root of top and bottom by, or numerator and denominator. So you have 16x to the third over 5y, the square root of it. Okay? I can already tell this one's going to be messy, but it's going to be fun. So square root of 16x to the third is 16, or I already lied. It is 4x square root of x over square root of 5y. Okay? Now, the numerator is okay. Denominator, not so nice, because we have your radical down there. So I'm just going to rewrite over here so I have more room. So it's 4x square root of x over square root of 5y. So now, just like in the last problem, when we have a radical in the denominator, multiply numerator, denominator by that same radical. Multiply numerator by radical 5y. Multiply denominator by radical 5y. Okay? So again, multiply outside by outside. So we get 4x on the outside. And then x times 5y is 5xy. All over radical 5y times radical 5y. I know you guys know the trick now, but I'll just do it anyways. It's 25y squared to give us a more simplified answer of 4x radical 5xy. Make sure your radical extends and covers up everything, just so you don't get points taken off. Divided by square root of 5, or 25 is 5. Square root of y squared is y. We have 5y. Can't cancel anything out. And that's your final answer. So, again, the basic idea is take the square root of the numerator, take the square root of the denominator separately, simplify. If you're left with the square root on the denominator, you must multiply numerator and denominator by that square root to cancel it out. Okay? There's really nothing else to taking radicals of fractions or dividing radicals, some people like to say. Other than this is like a tricky problem, but it's easy. So up next, I'm going to give you guys the Pythagorean theorem from our great man Pythagoras, or his wife invented it actually, I think. Distance formula and matrices. So stay tuned.